Welcome back to the continuing adventures of the monad. The time has come to expand upon an institution that has often been mentioned in these presentations. The institution goes by the august name of the Planetary Hierarchy. When the general public comes to know of such an institution, there is always a temptation to invoke its authority. This is all too easy to do, and as a result, there are a plethora of supposedly sacred knowledge orders that purport to express the wishes and intentions of this body. How are we to separate the wheat from the chaff? Lawrence would tell you immediately to use your common sense. If anyone proclaims an opinion that is supposed to emanate from the hierarchy, run it through your bullshit meter first. The Black Lodge is all too eager to masquerade as something it is not, for it realizes that under its own banner, most would be repulsed. Nevertheless, if you desire to hear from the masters, there are many who would seek to fill your head with information in the space where your brain once occupied. Clearly, there must be some source that should warrant your attention. But remember, use that meter all the time. The first thing to note about the hierarchy is that they communicate with their disciples, of which there are many grades. How has the hierarchy avoided getting its wires crossed in the communications it tried to filter into humanity? It has done this by assigning one 45 self to act as a secretary for all their communications. This 45 self we know well. It is the Master DK. It is through the works of his amanuensis Alice Bailey and also Madame Blavatsky that we have come to know about the hierarchy. It is to this reference point that one must return to glean what the hierarchy stands for and its objectives with regard to the further development of humanity. However, students should be aware that the works dictated by DK were meant for disciples. Now, I hesitate to say this because I know it will be grabbed upon by some. Lawrence tells us that the works by Alice Bailey, often referred to as the Blue Books, were written for disciples who were within striking distance of entering the Fifth Kingdom. Give your egos a rest. That is not you. Besides death and taxes, another certainty in life is that we get the wrong end of the stick when it comes to esoteric knowledge. This is not an absolute statement, but it is worth bearing in mind that even accepted disciples exist in grades, and that what could be presented to one grade would be completely misunderstood by another grade. Remember, we positively understand that which we have learnt to comprehend by experimental experience. Lawrence tells us that one does not know because one has read it in newspapers or a book, because authorities have said it, because it seems possible or likely, because it is handed down by tradition. Just to reiterate what was said in the previous set of presentations, only 45 selves, superessential selves, and still higher selves are counted as full authorized representatives of the hierarchy. Neither causal selves 47 nor essential selves 46 are. The latter ones can be deputies, but do not invoke any powers of attorney or bear witness to themselves and their stage of development. They regard themselves as disciples only, which also aspirants to discipleship can do, since they are disciples of disciples. Having recapped some information presented in the last few presentations, let's get into the topic of the planetary hierarchy. Let's start off. Who are we? We are monads who have acquired causal envelopes, 47, as a result of passing from the third to the fourth kingdom of nature. The hierarchy of our planet are monads that acquired essential envelopes and unity consciousness, 46, and passed from the fourth to the fifth kingdom of nature. Within the planes of matter in our solar system, the worlds 46 to 43 are deemed to be the worlds where the planetary hierarchy exists and functions. This span is divided between the fifth kingdom, 45 to 46, and the sixth kingdom, 43 to 44. On a technical note, the sixth kingdom is also sometimes called the first or lowest divine kingdom. These two kingdoms, fifth and sixth, exist on separate triads. There is also another interesting distinction between these four worlds. World 46 is part of our planetary system. Why is the term system used as there is only one planet? Because there are in fact 49 planets that go to make up what we currently perceive as just our planet. Here we go again, at chains, rounds and globes. The worlds 43 to 45 are part of the entire solar system. What does that mean? It means that these monads can move freely between other planetary systems in our solar system and know about their histories and development as well. If even 46 selves do not venture off our planetary system, how exactly are we going to mount a mission to Mars? Something to ponder. Lawrence tells us that those who work with the planetary evolution, however, have a firm anchorage in the physical world of the planet, 49.1. This is true of the planetary hierarchy as well as the planetary government. Did you notice I said 49.1 and did not mention the lower molecular levels? Ponder why. A distinction has to be made here between the planetary hierarchy and the planetary government. The latter consists of individuals who belong to the second, 36 to 42, and third, 29 to 35 cosmic kingdoms. These mighty monads have the ability to consult with even loftier beings in the fourth divine kingdom, 22 to 28. It should be borne in mind that all these kingdoms are developing themselves. They don't preside over us as fixed institutions. All monads are compelled, under the law of development, to expand their consciousness. Development along our consciousness journey is not linear. It is exponential. A planetary ruler needs an entire planet in order to express its full capacity. They have full sovereignty over 21 dimensions. Just as another aside, our planetary ruler, Sanat Kumara, governs over our globe, the third, in fact, to do so. Remember, there are 49 globes in our chain, and so there is an even mightier being called the chain Manu that presides over the whole shooting match. Beyond that, there is the planetary Logos that is evolving the whole scheme. Back to our humble planetary ruler, Sanat Kumara. He has to reside over the development of the lower worlds and kingdoms in accordance with the sum of all the laws of nature and of life, as they pertain to each of those levels. Lawrence tells us that essential energy, 46, manifests itself partly as an aspiration to unity, love, partly as wisdom, Love is what unites the planetary hierarchy with mankind. Wisdom unites the planetary hierarchy with the planetary government. This explains why love is the path to God. The planetary hierarchy receives directions from the planetary government, which is subordinate to the solar systemic government, which is, in its turn, under successively higher divine cosmic kingdoms of organization. Depending on your personal ray configuration, you are most comfortable looking at the world around you either from a consciousness or a matter perspective. Although the hierarchy impacts us through the matter aspect, their views focus through the consciousness 45 and 46 and motion 43 and 44 aspects. The hierarchy itself is divided into 7 departments, and all its members work with one of these 7 departments. Each department works with a special kind of motion and consciousness. The matter, energy, consciousness currents from departments 1, 4, and 5 are the most important for humanity's mental development at our present stage of development. 2 and 6 for our emotional life, and 3 and 7 for our physical life. All members of our planetary hierarchy are dedicated to serving the evolution of life. They are tasked with overseeing consciousness development in all lower kingdoms, all the way down to the mineral. They also facilitate the migration of monads from kingdom to kingdom. To achieve this, humanity needs to receive knowledge, which it does through the causal and mental planes. Lawrence tells us that the vast majority of the members of the hierarchy incarnate into human organisms. They did this before, during the 4th root race, collectively known as Atlantis. This did not go too well, as we are all aware from our flood myths. They are prepared to return, but we have to be ready to receive them, or what is the point? It is sobering to know that during the Atlantean period, the hierarchy strove to develop attractive emotional consciousness within the human kingdom. After 50,000 years of effort, we had advanced no further. The take-home message from this is that consciousness development is a slow process. We are repeatedly told that the hierarchy is planning to return to Earth. They are nothing if not optimistic. It has passed the message along its chain of disciples to get the word out. They are coming back. Why is this message important? Apparently, making us aware of their existence stirs in us a need for guidance and active help. This helps materialize their objectives into concrete reality. In the following presentations, we will look at the organization of the hierarchy and its mission to give humanity the knowledge of reality and life, and to help us activate our superconsciousness. In other words, for us to take the I3. Thank you.